Good morning, everyone. So here is another session of our Q&A that we have every week and every Thursday. The reason why I'm saying that is because we're having quite a few new workers. So just to remind everyone when we do this meeting. This meeting is actually a time for you to ask questions or to hear other workers to ask questions. Or sometimes if you cannot attend because you are on a shift or you are busy, you can always send us an SMS before Thursday beforehand, so we can answer the question here. And sometimes if we don't have the answer, we are happy to look into that together. But today I wanted to talk about two different things. One is more related to us in terms of the job we do. We talked about that many times before, but as I said, because there are quite a few that are new, we like to go back and mention again. So the first one is about shifts. When you do the shifts, you always need to remember to clock on and clock out. The reason why we do that is because then we make sure that you are there. If at any moment any participant complains or doesn't remember because it's been 3 months and he goes to the coordinator, so oh, no, I didn't have a shift that day, the worker didn't come. For whatever reason, it doesn't mean that they are against us or anything like that. But sometimes it could also be that NDIS decides to do some check and they say, okay, you claim that money for that shift, give me a proof that you did a shift. And the clock on and clock out gives us this proof that you were in fact there. You cannot clock on or you cannot clock out if you are not less than 200 meters from the participant's place. So if any time you try to clock on and it doesn't work, first of all, question or check whether you are close enough to the participant house. And that is to avoid for anyone to clock from home and maybe they are 20 kilometers away. And the other thing that might happen if you cannot clock on or clock out is that you did it on a wrong date, which sometimes it happens if you have a shift with John Smith every morning, Monday to Friday from 9 to 11. It's easy to get confused when you check on shift care. The other thing that I want to mention that is especially for the new one is that if you're already using shift care with another company, we cannot open an account with us, which means that you might have to give us a different email address to be able to create an account, or shift care doesn't allow us. So these are the main reason why we do clock on and clock out, and we are very strict with that. If for any reason you cannot clock on and clock out, and I'll give you an example where you go and see your participant to their place, and you do the shift like usual, but then for whatever reason they ask you to drop them off at their friend's house, or you are the shopping center and the shift is over and they say, no, we are happy to go back by ourselves. So it means that your shift ends in a different location than where it started and in a different location than what it's listed in the shift care. So if it is something predictable, which means it is something that we know in advance that the shift is going to finish in a different location, you need to let us know through WhatsApp. Let Senali, our admin officer, through WhatsApp, and she can change it in the shift. She can change the drop-off address in the shift. But if for whatever reason you don't know, and it happens at the last minute, make sure you write the notes. And in the notes it says couldn't clock on or couldn't clock out because it was a different location than what listed, and the new location was this, and you write down the address. So then we know. When you cannot clock out, you need to make sure you write down what time you finish the shift. Okay, because otherwise we cannot pay you because we don't know. So the clock out also shows us what time you finish the shift. You didn't clock out, so we don't know, and we won't be able to pay you. And it might be that is postponed to the next fortnight. So these are the main things that I wanted to talk about today. I think that's already an important one. The other thing that I want to talk about is more about our participants and even the value and the importance of what we do. Sometimes we think like I'm not doing anything because I'm just going to see the participant, have a cup of coffee and leave. But the big problem with our participant is that they feel lonely. So they talk about social isolation and loneliness. Social isolation is a little bit what everyone experienced during COVID, where we couldn't see other people, we couldn't be close to other people. But when there is loneliness, you can even be living with other people, you can meet other people, you can be at work, but mentally you feel alone. You feel like others might not understand you, might not share your same values or point of view. You might not feel like you can be part of a conversation with others. And that is what a lot of our participants feel, often because they feel the stigma of having a disability, especially of a mental disability, from the surrounding and from other people, could be even from their own family. And it's not easy to live with a mental disability. We have to remember that a lot of people that have mental disability have might have degrees, might have a job or have a job. So it's not that they cannot communicate, or it's not that they cannot read, or they cannot function physically, but is mentally, because of their depression, because of their anxiety. That is what caused the problem, and that is the reason why they cannot be at work for 8 hours. They cannot be in a supermarket when there is a lot of people. So just to keep that in mind, and also remember that, again, even if you are just taking a coffee with them, it's a very, very important thing, because it might be the only coffee they take during the week. You might be the only person they see. And just to finish off, the last comment I want to make, only because it happened this week, where a support worker went to do a shift, and apparently the condition of the house was very poor in terms of hygiene. And then the participant was dirty, but on top of that, the participant was sick. The participant had fever, she didn't inform us, and the support worker went. We need to remind you that there is a duty of care towards the participant, like always, but there is a duty of care towards the support worker, towards ourselves. So you never go in a house, or you never put yourself in a situation of risk. If for any reason, the risk might not be only violence, it could be a very dirty environment, or someone that is seriously sick. You don't go unless they tell you. They tell us in advance, and we get ready. We might want to wear a mask. We might have to wear gloves when we are around the house, if it is that dirty, or there are even mice or ants around the house, or cockroaches. So all these things are important for us to know. And both the participants and the coordinators should let us know. And it's important for us to educate them. So in this case, the worker informed the participant, and we definitely informed the coordinators too. To say, okay, keep in mind, if that happens, I might not stay unless you tell us before and we get ready. And again, when we get ready, could be gloves, could be a mask, could be asking the worker if she's willing and available to go, of course. And all these things will be provided by Disability Talk. Okay, I can't think of anything else. Again, reminder, this happens every Thursday, so please ask us a question if you have any. I do have one more thing. I know some people have been asking, would you pay me extra for travel? I want to remind that we do pay travel allowance every fortnight, depends how many hours a worker works. And then it might be that in some cases we might pay an extra allowance, but it all depends if there are money in the package of the participant. That is so fundamental. If there is no money in the package, if there is no money allowed for travel, there is nothing we can do about it. Okay? So when we give you a shift, we got this week 10 new workers. So altogether we got over 20 workers now. It's very hard for us to remember, or for Senally to remember exactly where each of you lives, but also where you are before doing a shift that we want to allocate. So if I want to allocate a shift to you, it might be that it's close to another shift that you already have, or it might be that it's too far away. You might ask Senally, but it's important to say it before. Once it is approved, I believe it is your responsibility to attend the shift. If you don't, then we might have to allocate the shift to another participant. And if the participant is happy with another worker, at the end we can choose to work with you as a disability talk. We are happy to work with you. But if a participant says, no, this other worker is more reliable, doesn't use the phone when he's on the shift, or doesn't come here late all the time, I prefer to have the other worker. We need to respect their choice and control. So it is really a teamwork to try to support the participant the best we can. But as I said, if a participant is too far away from you, it's something that we need to discuss before a shift, not after. And then we will check whether there are funding, whether it's possible to pay extra. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you watch the video. I tried to keep it not too long. I know it can be boring, but there are quite a few important information. Thank you and have a lovely day. Bye.